Daniel here. So, the king signed a law banning prayer for 30 days. Obviously, I prayed. Let's see how that goes.
All right, guys, it's official. They're throwing me into the lion's den. I'll film what I can, Dre, and if I survive, this is gonna blow up.
All right, welcome to my crib. That one's asleep. That one's just staring at me. Honestly, they're kind of chill, but I'm whispering because I really don't want to wake the angry one.
Morning, folks. Still here, and they are too. That one's been staring at me since sunset. Starting to think they like me.
All right, made it out. Thank God, literally. If you watch till the end, comment what you think, and hey, maybe I come back if y'all want part 2.
Good, fam. Your boy David here, about to yeet this little stone at Goliath and see what happens.
Okay, so I told y'all to trust the process, but no, y'all wanted to stay in Egypt stacking bricks.
Yo, it's Shadrach. This random dude just showed up. It's getting lit in here.
I got the horses in the back. Horse tack is attached. Hat is matte black. Got the boots that's black to match.
You know I'm a daddy's boy. He's got me in this Technicolor drip. Brother's so jelly right now. They're looking a little sus.
These Philistines thought they could flex on me. Big mistake. I just took some pre-workout and finna bring the house down.
I would like to formally apologize to God, the sailors, and this whale. Sorry.
First and foremost, I'd like to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rukah, Quadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone that rule well, and a sincere salutation to you, all communion, all quite, I believe in all sincerity. This is going to be another edition of Comparing Spiritual Things with Spiritual Things, and as you've seen at the beginning of this video, AI is pretty much, mocking, the great men of the scriptures. And, these men shouldn't be mocked, it shouldn't be taken lightly, these great feats that were accomplished by these men, and as of late, elders have been speaking about individuals that are going to be judged and are going to awaken to everlasting shame and contempt. Okay, their memorial, what they stood for is going to ultimately set them apart from the election in the kingdom. And these men, okay, that are being mocked by AI, have set a good name for themselves. Okay, so I want to read a couple scriptures, Lord willing. This will be edifying because their righteousness, as it says here, hath not been forgotten in the 10th verse. So I'm going to get a couple scriptures. I'll start here in Sirach 44. It says, let us now praise famous men. And these men are worthy of praise. Okay. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. King David, Noah, Jonah. Daniel, these men are to be praised, okay? The Lord hath wrought great glory by them through his great power from the beginning, such as did bear rule in their kingdoms, men renowned for their power, giving counsel by the understanding and dealing and declaring prophecies. Look at how Daniel rose to be second in command in Egypt. Okay, he was able to decipher the dream, okay, to a Pharaoh. Moses. Moses too was reared up with Pharaoh. So it says, such as did bear rule in their kingdoms, men renowned for their power, giving counsel by their understanding and declaring prophecies, leaders of the people by their counsels and by their knowledge of learning, meet for the people, wise and eloquent are their instructions. And this is the legacy that men are going to leave behind, men of the Lord, as they once did, even now. Leaders of the people by their counsels, right, their advice, and by their knowledge of learning, meet for the people, wise and eloquent are their instructions. Yeah, and the scriptures say, consider their conversation. So, the elders, starting with the apostles, you got to consider their behavior, consider, the work that they've put in, the labor, what they've learned, over the years through sacrifice, through trials, tribulations. It's meat for the people. You can learn from it. You can use it and apply it in your daily life. Such as found out musical tunes and recited verses in writing, rich men furnished with ability, living peaceably in their habitations. Right. Brothers have talents, men of the Lord have money. They're distinguished, they're professionals, prominent, living peacefully in their habitations, right? It says all these were honored in their generations and were the glory of their times, you see? And, the men of the Lord, they're going to be honored, in this last generation as well. It says, and were the glory of their times. It says, there be of them that have left a name behind them, you see? That their praises might be reported. I'm reminded of Hebrews the 11th chapter. It says here, by faith Abraham, when he was tried, offered up Isaac, and he that had received the promises offered up his only begotten son, of whom it was called that in Isaac shall thy seed be called. Of whom it was said that in Isaac shall thy seed be called, accounting that the Most High was able to raise him up even from the dead, from whence also he received him in a figure. By faith Isaac blessed Jacob and Esau concerning things to come. By faith Jacob, when he was dying, blessed both the sons of Joseph and worshiped leaning upon the top of his staff. By faith Joseph, when he died, made mention of the departing of the children of Israel and gave commandment concerning his bones. By faith Moses, when he was born, was hid 3 months of his parents, because they saw he was a proper child, and they were not afraid of the king's commandment. By faith Moses, when he was come to years, refused to be called the son of Pharaoh's daughter, choosing rather to suffer affliction with the people of the Most High than to enjoy the pleasures of sin for a season, esteeming the reproach of Hamashiach greater riches than the treasures in Egypt, for he had respect unto the recompense of the reward. Okay, I'm gonna jump down 32. And what shall I more say? For the time would fail me to tell of Gideon, and of Barak, and of Samson, and of Jephthah, of David also, and Samuel, and of the prophets, who through faith subdued kingdoms, wrought righteousness, obtained promises, stopped the mouth of lions, quenched the violence of fire, escaped the edge of the sword, out of weakness were made strong, waxed valiant in fight, turned to flight the armies of the aliens. Women received their dead raised to life again, and others were tortured, not accepting deliverance, that they might obtain a better resurrection. Okay, these are all, okay, righteous men, okay, that they were willing to, give up their lives, to be tortured, then accept deliverance, because they knew they were going to be favored in their death if they stayed faithful. Back in Sirach 44, all these were honored in their generations and were the glory of their times. There be of them that have left a name behind them, that their praises might be reported. You see, that's written in the scriptures, the things that they have done. They were faithful even unto death. Okay, they thought it was better to die, in service to Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai, okay, than to sell out. Okay, they didn't want to go, back into the spirit world, with that. They knew better than that. This is how we have to be. We have to know that what we do echoes in eternity. I think that's in that movie Troy. Brad Pitt said that in that movie Troy, if I'm not mistaken. This is why they'll never remember your name. He told that young dude, about why he was going to war. And some there be which have no memorial, who are perished as though they had never been, and are become as though they had never been born, and their children after them. But these were merciful men, whose righteousness had not been forgotten. You see, their righteousness had not been forgotten. And people praise, evil men in this world, but in all reality, you're supposed to praise merciful and righteous men. You know, our people really do got it construed. You know, that's why the scriptures say, woe unto them that call evil good and good evil. With their seeds shall continually remain a good inheritance, and their children are within the covenant. Their seed standeth fast, and their children for their sakes. Okay? So, you know, the Lord blesses, you know, the children of the righteous. Okay? They're within the covenant. They're within, you know, the understanding of that they're Israelites. You know, the scriptures say that I will cover your children so they shall not see hell. Their seed standeth fast, and their children for their sakes. You see, their seed shall remain forever, and their glory shall not be blotted out. Yeah. Their bodies are buried in peace, but their name liveth forevermore. The people will tell of their wisdom, and the congregation will shew forth their praise. Enoch pleased the Lord. Now it goes into, okay, Enoch pleased the Lord, and was translated being an example of repentance to all generations. Noah was found perfect and righteous. In the time of wrath, he was taken in exchange for the world. You see, Noah was, the scriptures say 8 souls escaped. Okay, and the whole world perished. It says, in the time of wrath, he was taken in exchange for the world. Therefore was he left as a remnant unto the earth when the flood came. An everlasting covenant was made with him, that all flesh should perish no more by the flood. Abraham was a great father of many people. In glory was there none like unto him, who kept the law of the Most High and was in covenant with him. Right, he was in agreement. It says he established the covenant in his flesh, and when he was proved, he was found faithful. And we read about that. We read about Abraham. You know, he had full faith in delivering up Isaac because he knew that the Yahushua could restore him. You know, they believed in reincarnation. You know. Therefore he assured him by an oath that he would bless the nations in his seed, and that he would multiply him as the dust of the earth, and exalt his seed as the stars, and cause him to inherit from sea to sea, and from river unto the utmost part of the land. You see that? And what did Ezra say? If the world was made for our sakes, why do we not have an inheritance? But, you know, Abraham, you know, was blessed, okay, and was told that his seed would multiply as the dust of the earth. And ultimately, you know, the earth is going to be given back to Yahweh Bashem El Shai and to the election. The scriptures say the welfare of the world is in the care of the elect, roughly paraphrasing. It says, with Isaac did he establish likewise for Abraham his father's sake the blessing of all men and the covenant, and made it rest upon the head of Jacob. He acknowledged him in his blessing, and gave him a heritage, and divided his portions among the 12 tribes that he part them. You see, so, you know, for what Isaac did, for what Abraham did, Isaac and the blessing rested on Jacob. You see, the Lord blesses the seed of the righteous. They're within the covenant. They're within this truth. Okay? So there's going to be an inheritance with the 12 tribes, man. When everything is restored, when the earth is restored, you know, it's going to be a reward for being righteous. And this is spoken about time and time again. Let's read this, Hebrews 11 and 37. They were stoned, they were sawn asunder. This is what they went through, but they were faithful. They were stoned, they were sawn asunder, were tempted, were slain with the sword. They wandered about in sheepskins and goatskins, being destitute, afflicted, tormented. Yahushua went on the cross. You know, one of the greatest story ever told is Yahushua triumphing over the world, man. What do you say in John? Be of good cheer, I have overcome the world. Of whom the world was not worthy. You see, the world is not worthy of these men. And here it is, AI mocking great famous men. You know, that's why it tells you in Jude that there's going to be a a visitation for all the ungodly and their ungodly speeches that ungodly people have spoken. You know, the Lord's going to visit all these people who mock this truth, who think it's funny. It's not a game. It's not funny. These men were righteous and upright. They left a good name. You know, what name are people going to leave? You know, that's something that I've been thinking about. You know, I want to leave a good name. You know, we got to fight and do what's right, have integrity. Okay? Look at what our people went through. It says, of whom the world was not worthy, they wandered in deserts and in mountains and in dens and caves of the earth. You see? Talk about antisocial. What do the scriptures say? Lot was vexed with the filthy conversation of the wicked. Yeah, the behavior of the wicked just vexes you. You know, because you know you can't be a part of it. You know that if you be a part of it, you get tainted, and you know you're just like out the way. And these all having attained a good report through faith. You see, they all have a good report. What, man, a name. I'm thinking about that so often. As of late, you know, having a good name, doing the right thing, having integrity. You know, you want your reputation to precede you, but in a good way. And that's something that, you know, you got to work towards. You know, building up that character through the scriptures, through the Spirit. All these, and these all, having obtained a good report through faith, received not the promise. Right? You know, they saw it afar off, but you know they didn't get to see the end. They didn't get to see Yahushua restore the world. Okay, back to, you know, the Israelites. It says the Most High hath provided some better thing for us, that they without us should not be made perfect. So, as it says here, for the Most High, NLT, had something better in mind for us, so that they would not reach perfection without us. So, you know, the story is not complete, you know, until the end. You know, they didn't get to see it, but, you know, through the Spirit, you know, we're going to get to see it. Lord willing, you know, we are, you know, the election. You know, we are those prophets. You know, the scriptures say that the spirit of the prophets are subject unto the prophets, man. All right. And, you know, we you know, through the Spirit, we want to leave a good memorial, man. You know, we want, you know, our name to you know, to have favor in the name of Yahweh Bashem El Shai. Like what we do, it echoes in eternity. We want to, you know, awaken to everlasting life. You know, we don't want to be cast into the fire and, you know, and be in the kingdom all full of shame and contempt. No, we want to overcome, you know. So, Lord willing, this was edifying. I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rokah Kodash. That honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone that rule well. And a sincere salutation to you, Akim, and you, Akwa, to believe in all sincerity. Shalom.